5 red lights on hier in de Premier Formula League. And Alex spins round. He wins back to back. Tries it here around the outside and he gets tangled. Behind we see all crashes. Oh, there's a massive crash. What has happened here? Oh, as Luka spins. Five red lights on here in the Premier Formula League. And Alex spins round. He wins back to back. Tries it here around the outside and he gets tangled. Behind we see all crashes. Oh, there's a massive crash. What has happened here? Oh, as Luka spins. Five red lights on here in the Premier Formula League. And Alex spins round. He wins back to back. Tries it here around the outside and he gets tangled. Behind we see all crashes. Oh, there's a massive crash. What has happened here? Oh, as Luka spins. Five red lights on here in the Premier Formula League. And Alex spins round. He wins back to back. Tries it here around the outside and he gets tangled. Behind we see all crashes. Oh, there's a massive crash. What has happened here? Oh, as Luka spins. Five red lights on here in the Premier Formula League. And Alex spins round. He wins back to back. Tries it here around the outside and he gets tangled. Behind we see all crashes. there's a massive crash. What has happened here? Oh, as Luka spins. Five red lights on here in the Premier Formula League. And Alex spins round. He wins back to back. Tries it here around the outside and he gets tangled. Behind, we see all crashes, all. Oh, there's a massive crash. What has happened here? Oh, as Luka spins. Five red lights on here in the Premier Formula League. And Alex spins round. He wins back to back. Tries it here around the outside and he gets tangled. Behind, we see all crashes, all. Oh, there's a massive crash. What has happened here? Oh, as Luka spins. Five red lights on here in the Premier Formula League. And Alex spins round. He wins back to back. Tries it here around the outside and he gets tangled. Behind, we see all crashes, all. Oh, there's a massive crash. What has happened here? Oh, as Luka spins. Five red lights on here in the Premier Formula League. And Alex spins round. He wins back to back. Tries it here around the outside and he gets tangled. Behind, we see all crashes, all. Oh, there's a massive crash. What has happened here? Oh, as Luka spins. Five red lights on here in the Premier Formula League. And Alex spins round. He wins back to back. it here around the outside, and he gets tangled. Behind, we see all crashes, all. Oh, there is a massive crash. What has happened here? Oh, as Luka spins.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Premier Formula League. Wait, Premier Formula Racing League, that's what it's called. I'm new here. My name is Still Guns. I'm replacing Eddie this weekend. He's on holiday. All the best of luck to him on his travels. We're here for round 5 of PFR at the Suzuka circuit in Japan. It's going to be a great race here. It's typically a pretty good track for racing, even if it's not one of my favourites. Lots of corners around here, including the famous S's. It's looking like a fairly overcast day, and I have forgotten some of my keybinds already. Hang on, it's a new format for me. Give me a second. There we go. That's what we're looking for. And there's my controller, and it immediately does this things that it's infamous for, but it should all be fine. So, where are we today? Bring up all the usual data. And the first man out on track was one of the Alfa Romeos. It is... oh god, how do you pronounce that? Wagdi Kachek? Wagdi? I'm unfortunately not the best with some of these names sometimes, that you'll have to forgive me. I'm just an ignorant British person. Vagdi, first man out on track for his outlap. His teammate is coming into the Dunlop curve right now. That is MK Ben Dixon. That's an old friend of mine, and there's something I remembered to do. Remembered not to do, rather. We also have Agroka here in the AlphaTauri. He's coming through the S's at the minute. We've got the Red Bull behind, which is either Alord or Alexei. We shall find out who is who. Reese 544 in the Haas. Very nice. And immediately behind him is one of the Red Bulls, that is Alord. Nice to see this person again as he gets a bit squirrely on the exit. Vagdi, meanwhile, first man to start a flying lap here at this short qualifying session, and he's already, I wonder if that's a rain light or if he's just got his energy set to 0. In fact, yes, it does indeed look like he's not got his energy turned on, so this lap is not going to be the most representative. Ben Dixon is also going without his energy. I wonder if that's a thing that you guys do here at PFR, if you run the qualifying without energy. Certainly a unique way of doing things. Sort of evens the playing field a little bit. We'll go back to Vagdi here. As he's going through... I can't remember what this curve is called. Honda curve, perhaps? I know what the next one is called. It's called the Spoon. Currently a minute into the lap. And then on to the run down to 130R. We'll see what the Sector 2 split is in just a few moments' time. 1:15.1 for Vagdi, whereas Ben Dixon, also on his run down to 130R, as Vagdi will be crossing the finishing line soon. 1:14.4 for Ben Dixon, as Vagdi sets the benchmark at a 1:32.875. Ben Dixon coming through the final chicane, and on the run down to the finishing line himself, and has... oh, there we go. Took a moment for the times to catch up, and I'm wondering if that's rain I can hear, or if it's just the crowd clapping. I can only hear it in one ear. So currently it's an Alfa Romeo 1-2, this sort of thing that you don't see in real life, unless you reversed the grid, I suppose. Agroka immediately pips Ben Dixon to provisional pole. That is definitely clapping, I'm hearing. Whilst Reese has decided he's going to come into the pits as he has invalidated his lap time. Ozcan was briefly P1 before Alexei goes P1 himself with a 1:29.434. He has used his energy, so I'm wondering if the two Alfa Romeos are just getting sort of banker laps in without their energy usage. We've got a yellow flag. That is Alord. He's just completed his lap and immediately slowed down to let a Mercedes past of Monzality. Not Monzolity. Monzality. It's like a fatality, except better. And around Monza, I think. Through Dunlop, nicely does it, and towards the Degners as we get our first Sector 1 split, 32.7, as Luke Walstow goes 1:29.399, a bit of a wobble for Monzolity there. Into the hairpin now. Another yellow flag, that is, I believe that is Agroka, going a bit slowly, perhaps has run out of fuel through the right-hand curve for the Mercedes. The George Russell Mercedes, as you can tell by the blue on the wheel brows. Used to be red, then they decided no, it's going to be blue. Then they decided no, it's going to be green, and now they've gone back to blue. So indecisiveness on the Mercedes crew. 1:13.4 through Sector 2. So this is blitzing what Ben Dixon did on his banker lap. Through the chicane and down towards the finishing line, hugging the wall there. Across the line in a 1:30.3. I think he's not had a great third or first sector. Somewhere he's had a bit of a shoddy lap, and it's currently second slowest of the drivers who have a lap time on the board. Reese gonna try and get a lap time onto the board himself. Cookie has just put in a lap himself, I believe. Indeed, his energy is quite depleted. Who will be next across the line? Ben Dixon coming into the pits, as is Luke Walstow in the Alpine. People who would potentially be on pole, I would imagine Luka Jovic, who's won the past two races, or Ofek in the McLaren. In fact, right in front of his teammate Nitsan Ohana. Making way for a Williams there. I think that is Gandalf. Indeed, it is. Going through the S's right now. Making sure not to touch the curbs. They can be quite evil around this corner. Track, my mistake. I get all my words mixed up sometimes. That's something you're going to have to... and there we go, I've just lost another one. That happens when you have autism. It happens. Into the hairpin we go. I was too distracted and didn't catch what the Sector 2 time was for Gandalf. Down towards Spoon, there's an AlphaTauri ahead. Looks like it's going pretty slowly. That is Dracovic, I think. Indeed it is. He's going to have to get out of the way. Providing a bit of a neat slipstream for Gandalf at the minute, I think. Through 130R, not the most fearsome of corners anymore as it used to be in days gone past. People have already knocked out the bollards on the insides of the chicane. And Gandalf may be a little bit unsettled. 129.9, it's enough for P6 at the minute. And yellow flags in sectors 1, 2 and 3, that's just the game being strange. Sapphire on an outlap in the Ferrari. Reese did manage to get a time on the board, a 1:30.590. Dracovic on his flying lap here. There's a lot of dirt on the road as Dracovic goes round. He's able to more or less keep it out of the road, wall even. Reset to track though. I don't know how you guys do it here, but that's usually a little frowned upon. And it definitely put him in the way of one of those McLarens. Ofek, he's done a 32.515 through sector 1. Bit of poor traction out of the hairpin. And there's been another spin up ahead for one of the Alfa Romeos. I think that is potentially Vagdi. Oh, going perpendicular to the track. No, it is Vagdi. Okay. Ofek, meanwhile, 112.8 through sector 2. This guy is absolutely flying. This could be our first proper good lap time of the evening. His teammate just behind. Oh, bit of a tank slapper though. And that didn't hurt him too much. Oh, Jersey has retired. There's a car on track just past the bridge. I don't think we're going to get the opportunity to see exactly how bad it is. He's just gone off. Seems to have had a snap of oversteer or something. As Alexei has just put in the fastest lap of the session so far, 128.8, whilst Luka has just managed a 129.0. So these two at the front, absolutely flying. Ofek with that poor exit out of the final corner. Yeah, that's not helped his situation too much, but still plenty of time to get back to the pit lane, bolt on a new set of tyres, and go for another run. Dear. Biscuit has invalidated his lap time. Dracovic in the pit after his spin. Maybe there was a little bit of damage on his car. A-Lord coming out. He's currently the slowest man on the field. A 1:31.677. He's going to want to get that time to be much higher. Not the most representative lap time at the minute. And Dracovic is also making his way out of the pits to put a time on the board. Vagdi, meanwhile, has just gone 0.2.5 tenths quicker to go P5 into the 129s, or 129.5s at least. And Agroka going very slowly. Doesn't seem like he's run out of fuel. Potentially, but shouldn't be too much of an issue. Maybe there are some cars running out of fuel. Vagdi not on a flying lap at the minute. Tainsy also not on a particularly quick lap. Zolity. Currently 129.7. I don't think he's pushing at the minute. No, he's not pushing. So the question is, who do we watch? Reese goes round just as we switch to him. Yellow flag. Manages to keep it out of the barriers though, but those tyres gonna be a bit scrubbed. Alord now on the run to start another flying lap here. We'll ride on board with the Red Bull for now. Dumping the energy. Or is he? It's hard to tell, and that's not a particularly good camera angle. It doesn't give me the view I want, which is of the lights on the rear end. Is he saving energy? No, he is not. Not using a huge amount of energy. Even though it is qualifying, you'd expect the energy to be, well, going down at a much quicker rate. That's the wrong button. As Drakovic has retired. He's had a bit of an incident in the S's. He's gone off where Reese did, except it's not gone quite to plan. I think I've gone off there myself at one point. It was rather embarrassing. It was also in an AlphaTauri, actually. I called out a safety car. Yeah. Meanwhile, who were we watching? It was Alord. That was it. Gone slightly slower through Sector 1. How is his time going to be through Sector 2? Ooh, 3/10 quicker, so he's definitely going to improve. But it might not be enough. He needed to improve through Sector 1 as well, and he basically just matched his Sector 1 time. And yeah, he has improved by a little under 0.4 of a second, but he's still slowest on track, 1:31.291. Two and a half minutes of the session remain. Ofek, little under 0.2 quicker through Sector 1 as the game has thought it was going to go round there. Fortunately, it's just a bit of, I think you call it latency, ping, something along those lines. And the car looking a little dirty, actually, if you look at the black section. Through Spoon, yellow flags. Has someone crashed? Don't think so. It's just the game being odd again. Ofek on the run down towards the Sector 2 split and 130R, 112.1. He is an entire 0.7 quicker through Sector 2. He just needs to nail the final chicane. And yes, we are having a bit of lag and latency. In fact, I think I know exactly what's going on. Whoa, 128.7. Second man into the 128s. We're going to have a brief black screen here. As I just remembered, I need to turn on performance mode on my streaming software. There we go. That should improve performance a little bit. And Nitsan Ohana has gone... Oh, that's almost exactly 0.02 slower than his teammate. So it's really on here, and Luka has only a minute, less than a minute even, to get to the finishing line and start his final flying lap of the session to try and nail pole. At the minute, though, provisional pole is Ofek's. He is not going to get another opportunity to defend his pole here. Biscuit, meanwhile, is about to get a time on the board. We're getting yellow flags all over the place. The game is not happy. Biscuit goes 1:30.078. And Luka has just a few seconds. I think he's got more than enough time to cross the finishing line. 15 seconds indeed. More than enough time as required. Sapphire is coming into the pits. He is not going to get a time on another lap in, rather. Ben Dixon on a flying lap here. Ahead of him are
one of the two McLarens that will be coming into the pit lane, as well as I think that's an Alpine. Indeed, it is. It's Ozkan Sarikaya, who's gone a tenth quicker through Sector 2. Ben Dixon just behind. What can Ozkan do? He does improve. He goes to P8, but Ben Dixon jumps him up to P5. Luke Wolstow has matched his Sector 1 time, practically matched his Sector 2 time. I don't think he's going to improve unless he nails the chicane here. Careful not to... Oh no, that's not nailing, and that's his lap over. He will not do better than P7. Luka Jovic, meanwhile, on the run. He's about 2.5 tenths quicker through the lap so far. Might not be enough to jump even Alexei here. What can the Aston Martin driver do? He actually manages to nail the Sector 3 and jumps Ofek by all of 5 thousandths of a second, and Alexei is not going to get a representative time in here. So Luka Jovic takes pole by the skin of his teeth on the dying moments of the session. That was incredible. So indeed, top 4 separated by a quarter of a tenth, if that's even a proper measurement. 26 thousandths between the top 4, all in the 128s, and then it's another 3 or so tenths back to Ben Dixon in the Alfa Romeo. That is quite something indeed. And it's a second back to Sapphire in P12, and the Ferrari. Meanwhile, Drakovic did not get a time on the board in the end, obviously, because he retired. He crashed. So, 27 laps are ahead of us. Will it be dry? Will it be wet? Is it going to be typhoon situations? We shall see. It is going to be a rather clear day, actually. Ideal conditions for racing, as you can just about see a Haas bouncing up and down. Boom, 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 boom. I think the subwoofers are going a bit too hard in that VF22. I wonder who he's listening to. Sabaton, Lizzo. Well, it stopped now. I think he's listening, actually. Maybe he's listening to me. 5 seconds until the beginning of the formation lap. We should have a full grid by now, with a late comer. Nope, we're going straight into the race, I think. No formation lap here. And indeed, there we go. The race gets going immediately. We only have 19 drivers here. So that's caught me off guard. Normally I would do the whole 5 lights. It lights out and it's away we go thing, but in this case I'm going to have to just roll with it. Yellow flags again. The game is really not sure what's going on. We've had a crash. Gandalf has received a 5-second penalty for a collision with Agroka. Biscuit has had a spin at turn 2. This is just a virtual safety car, and Aylord has lost his front wing. That is not what the Red Bull driver would have wanted to have happen. He's going to lose a lot of time, and that's his race basically ruined. Gandalf doesn't look like he's got any severe damage to his car, nor does Agroka's AlphaTauri. So the question is, when does this very early virtual safety car come to an end? Hopefully soon. Tainsy, Ofek, and fact, the two McLarens have swapped positions. Nitsan Ohana ahead of Ofek, chasing his first race win of the season. Of course, at the minute, they've got to hold to the Delta. VSC lasting quite a while here. And there we go. The VSC has come to an end. Luka crosses the line in first place, but Ohana right behind, right up the diffuser of that Aston Martin. I don't think he's going to be able to take the position just yet. He's going to have to hold off until at least after the S's. Or maybe in the S's, should Luka make a mistake. But 6/10 back already. Luka making the most of something, which could be a difference in tyres. Indeed. Luka running on medium tyres. The two McLarens running on hards. As well as, well, half the grid actually. Ben Dixon. Oh, we've had a spin. Someone is going round. Groka. Oh dear. Doesn't look like he's picked up any damage, but that's a very strange position to have spun into. Now, where was I? Yes, tyres. So, Alord has just put on a brand new set of hard tyres. Ohana, Ofek, Ben Dixon, Biscuit, Vagdi, and Agroka all on hard tyres. In fact, Vagdi has also been involved in an incident somewhere. He is down in 17th position. Everyone else is on medium tyres, which is probably explaining the difference in pace between Luka and Ohana. Indeed, Vagdi has had a terrible beginning of the race, as well as Agroka down 11 positions and 9 positions respectively. Going in the other direction, going up the field, Drakovic has moved up 4 positions and Scherzy up 6. Capitalising off the carnage the most at the minute. Gandalf up 5, but has picked up that 5-second penalty. Whilst Tamesy has moved up 3. So it's been a very good race start for the Aston Martin duo, and they are going to need that race start to work as effectively as a team as they can. And there's been, oh no, Drakovic has had a spin or an off of some description at Dunlop, and all his hard work has gone off out the window, and I think his rear tyres are a little bit cooked. Very unfortunate. But these things happen. That's just racing, I'm afraid. 1.8 seconds between Luka and Nitsan Ohana. Should be either this lap or the next lap that DRS was enabled. In fact, yes, it should have been this lap, but we did have the VSC. I don't think that affects too many things. Ofek getting a bit out of shape through the chicane there by the looks of things, and that is going to allow Tamesy to get a bit closer. Though the gap not shrinking that much, as indeed the DRS is enabled, and the two cars not able to really close the gap to each other. Meanwhile, Gandalf right up the chuff of Sarakaya. The Alpine 2 seconds adrift of Ben Dixon ahead of him. I wonder if there could be a little bit of damage on the Alpine. There's been a spin somewhere down the field, and that is Gandalf's teammate Scherzy, who's lost his front wing. Oh dear, and there's a full safety car because of a front wing. You know, it's just like this game, isn't it? Sometimes you get an entire car crashing, and the entire car is on the track, but the safety car never gets caught. Maybe it's just yellow flags. But then a front wing comes off, and that's when the marshals panic. We've got to have the safety car right now. It's a front wing. It could cause a carnage. And as if the full-on broken-down race car wouldn't. Ooh, look at Jovik. Coming into the pits, all locking up. Oh, almost going into the wall. That would have been embarrassing. In fact, I think both of the Aston Martins coming in. Yes! This is quite the call here. Going onto hard tyres. Double stacking. It's going to hurt them in the short run, though, as Sapphire picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Changing his front wing. He's picked up damage somewhere. Jersey also going to change his front wing. So... This is going to be quite the gamble for the Aston Martin duo. Luka, I know, is a pretty quick driver from previous experience in leagues. But I'm wondering about this. Tyres. Fresh, hard tyres. I wonder if that's going to be their one and only pit stop. But then that's going to allow the McLaren duo to run long on their current set of hard tyres and then switch to a much softer, fresher, harder, not harder, my mistake, softer, fresher, faster, that's the word I wanted to use, faster set of mediums later on. Question is, how will it affect them? Their pace towards the end of this current hard stint is not going to be stellar, I would imagine. We shall see. Safety car is not going to be coming in this lap. I would imagine it will come in at the end of lap 6. Racing will be underway for lap 7, more than likely, as we wait for A-Lord and Jersey to catch up to the end of the field of the safety car pack, just as Sapphire is. So if we get another safety car, that could switch things up. It could work out for the McLarens, it could work out for the Aston Martins, depending on when the next potential safety car is called. At the minute, though, I couldn't tell you which way this race is going to go. I just have to see how things turn out. It's too early to tell who will win this race. Though at the minute, positions 1 and 2 go to McLaren. Ohana ahead of Ofek. And the third step of the rostrum is currently occupied by the Alpine of Luke Wolster. I feel like I should know who this is. I don't know if I've ever seen this person in another league before. I know I've definitely seen Ben Dixon. He used to be part of another league before it closed down. Luka Jovic was part of another league, but he left. As well, it's the same league as A-Lord, actually. But, Luke Wolster, where does he come from? I don't remember if I've seen him before. In the meantime, let me know how things are going. If the audio needs touching, if there's anything going wrong with the stream. It does look fairly smooth on my second screen, which isn't a monitor, I'm afraid it's just my phone. It looks okay there. I couldn't tell you about the audio. I can actually bring up... Oh, safety car is coming in this lap, so I was going to bring up the standings. And then forgot that I could have done that about 5 minutes ago. Anyway, let's get rid of the tyre graphic. We shall also... I forgot about the lap data. We're also going to bring up the telemetry and see how the people are using up their energy storage. There's a position changes as Ohana goes for it. And the race gets back underway. He dumps a little bit of his energy. He doesn't want to be caught out by his more successful teammate. There was a brief yellow flag in Sector 3. Didn't look like anyone had actually gone off. Ohana controlling the pace of the field for now. There's been a change. Oh, there's a Monzality is AFK potentially? Nope. For some reason his car was ghosted. Oh, I thought he made contact with the Haas there. Fortunately, that was not the case. At the minute though, oh, this field was status quo. We might get another safety car here. Alord has gone off at Dunlop. And this is what I'm talking about. The entire car has crashed, and the safety car's not going to come out. Typical, isn't it? Some gaps beginning to form. Cookie, 1.3 seconds adrift of Gandalf. Reese, 1.4 seconds ahead of adrift of Monzality. Meanwhile, Luka Jovic gets past Vagdi in the spoon corner. And we've got Agroka trying to make his way past before 130R, which he does. It's not quite a Fernando Alonso move, as we've seen in 2005. The move was made before the turn in this case. Tainsy, meanwhile, has to make his way past both of the cars in front. Agroka and Vagdi. We've got Alexei in the pits now. He started P4. I wonder if he's picked up a... well, he's coming to the... yeah, his pit stop has already happened. So I couldn't say if he's had a broken front wing or something. Meanwhile, Nitsan Ohana not pulling away from his teammate as quickly as Luka Jovic was from, well, Nitsan. Oh, there's been another spin. And Alexei might get a front row seat. Is there damage on the AlphaTauri? Well, Scherzi has crashed, and there we go. That's the... that's the safety car that we were supposed to get. And Alexei, his brand new wing is already broken. So he's going to have to come in and get that fixed. So he started P4, and now he's going to be dead last. I suppose someone had to appease the Mercedes gods or something, because one Red Bull was at the back, and as soon as it retired, the other Red Bull was cursed to be at the back. Very unlike real life at the minute. So, what are the two McLarens going to do? I would imagine they would stay out, and indeed they do. Luke Wolstow, though, coming in, as well as Gandalf, where he will more than likely serve his 5-second penalty. Monzality also coming in. Luka Jovic stays out predictably and moves up to P6. There's Gandalf serving his 5-second penalty, currently down to P15. It's going to hurt him quite a lot, as we now have the the pit crews playing mine. And Alexei gonna fix that front wing again, potentially. Bit of a disaster here for the Red Bull team. Bad luck, Scherzi. What happened, mate? We don't have a proper Discord voice call, but I can ask you in the chat, which I am looking at. Was there a tangle with one of the AlphaTauris, or was it just a mistake? Or potentially just the game being the game? Oh dear. So, one of the AlphaTauris spun, didn't ghost, and Scherzi got caught up in the chaos and lost one of his wheels, probably. Most unfortunate. Now, is this going to work? Let's press that button and see what happens. Has that worked? Have I pressed the wrong button, maybe? Nope, there we go. So, let's... Let's hide everything. These are the current standings, which we're going to look at for briefly. Luka leading the way in the championship at the minute. 73 points. That's 22 ahead of Ofek, so Ofek may have been away for a round or two, or maybe he's lost out somewhere. Currently, though, the constructors' standings a lot closer. 115 to Aston Martin, 106 to McLaren. So very much a British 1-2 in the championship. If only McLaren was doing that well in real life. Ofek did not race in the Netherlands, so that's probably why the gap is that large. But that makes sense. That's allowed Luka to run away a little bit. Haas currently have 0 points. Oh, we have... No, sorry, that's just me getting a bit confused. Never mind. Lots of drivers with 0 points on the board. Luke Wolstow, who's currently P4, has only 14 points to his name, so he's looking to potentially double his points tally today. That's quite the achievement at the minute, but he's going to have to pit at some point. So let's close that up
And see how things are going. I would imagine... Oh, there's been a spin for Reese under the safety car, and he's lost his front wing, which could be disastrous. The safety car could decide to come in at this point. Now, he could game the system and decide to stay back a little bit, but no, he's going to catch up. Which means the safety car might well come in at a very inopportune moment for Reese. I'm also going to turn the telemetry off briefly. The safety car is... Yes, it is coming in. That is a bit of a disaster for Reese. Cars weaving, making as much heat in their tyres as they can. We're going to bring up the tyre graphics again. 2 cars on mediums since the beginning of the race. Sarakaya and Cookie. Oh, okay, Luke also is actually down in P10 at the minute, so he's made his pit stop. That means Sarakaya is P4. He has not made a pit stop yet, as racing has got back underway. And is that Sarakaya trying to make a move? Oh, Gandalf picked up another 5-second penalty. That is a bit of rotten luck for the Williams driver. Can Sarakaya make his way past Ben Dixon on the softer rubber? However, they're not going to be in as good a state as the hard rubber on the car in front. Mediums, of course, going to not last as long. Meanwhile, Luka right up the rear end of Cookie and his Haas. And Cookie definitely struggling out of the hairpin. This could allow Luka to make his way past. That is a terrible camera angle we just had there. Okay, Luka not able to make his way past at the spoon, as I was half expecting. There's ooh, that's quite a gaggle of cars down there. Alexei leading a little bit of a train for P14. He's got Drakovic 8/10 behind, and Biscuit 3/10 behind him. Through 130R, bit of a lift for the Mercedes. Using a bit of his energy, and he makes a dive bomb into the chicane. It's not going to hold on, though. Not the most opportune moment to make a dive bomb. The intent was certainly there, but perhaps a bit too cautious.
didn't want to knock Drakovic out of the race, and that certainly compromised Drakovic a little bit there. Oh, and a bit of a slide for Drakovic, and that has allowed Biscuit past regardless. So the move has just happened. Ben Dixon, still P3, 6-7 tenths between each of the top 4. Luka, after getting past Cookie, who is now being hounded by a Groker, forming a little bit of a bottleneck. Those medium tyres definitely feeling the heat. So can Luka close that gap? He should be able to, as a Groker does get past Cookie just before Spoon. And now under threat from Vagdi. So Cookie's still holding on to the AlphaTauri. Through 130Is, Cookie gonna try and make a dive bomb. He did take a little bit of a look. Oh no, there's a car going round. That's a Groker, and there's a bit of a bus stop. Oh dear. Car park, that's the word I was looking for, and that's rather unfortunate. Some of the faster cars in this pack losing some valuable places. Meanwhile, a Groker still losing places. I think his tyres may be a little bit dirty from that little incident. That's not really what you want to see. Oh, another yellow flag, and that is Drakovic. I think possibly having a bit of a moment. Luka has now closed the gap. Oh, that was just Sarikaya who makes a mistake at Degner 2. And now being passed by Tainsy. So his medium tyres definitely well and truly done. And now his teammate Luke Walstow making his way past as well. Looks like Sarikaya making it easy for his teammate. Definitely the faster of the two Alpines at this moment in time. So, the two Aston Martins chasing down Ben Dixon, and the top 3, the two McLarens. Again, Ohana not able to make as much of a gap back to his teammate that Luka was to Ohana at the beginning of the race. Ofek 1/10 slower than his fastest lap as we go into this long sweeping double right-hander. Luka Jovic apparently 2.8 seconds behind. In fact, yes. Okay, so the gap was 0.5 at some point, and of course that 0.5 was to Sarikaya, who then immediately spun before I could even talk about it. The gap gradually closing, but not as quickly as Luka might like. And in fact, his teammate Tainsy under threat from Luke Walstow, who is on 4-lap fresher tyres. Can the Alpine cause an upset here? There's another couple of position changes as Sarikaya is passed by Monzolotti, and I think someone else just got past. I think that was Sapphire by Vagdi. I need to have a drink briefly. Luka is sort of stagnating in his pace at the minute. 2.8 seconds. The last time we looked, he was 2.7 seconds. Whilst Luke has lost a bit of time to Tainsy. Meanwhile, Vagdi has just made his way past Sarikaya, who is actually pitting. As well as Alexei, I think, was that... Oh, I think Sarikaya was able to stay out of the wall. No, he wasn't. He's lost a front end plate. I don't know if that was from his pit entry or if that was from some time earlier in the race, which could explain why he was so slow. A Groker coming into the pits again, despite having already made a pit stop.
Is he also... Yes, he's also got a broken front wing. It doesn't look broken, but evidently there must have been a reason to do it. Ben Dixon starting to lose touch with the top two, whilst Luka... He's hemorrhaging time, comparatively. Oh, hang on. When did this happen? Safety car. And Gandalf has picked up another 5-second penalty
For a so-called
severe collision. Oh, okay, it was a virtual safety car, not a full safety car.
wish it would tell me these things.
As racing gets back underway, and Ofek starting to hound his teammate a little bit here. Ohana holding on desperately. Oh, into the pits he goes. And it will fit on a brand new set of medium tyres that allows Luka
Back into the podium positions. But that McLaren is going to be pretty
speedy on those new medium tyres. So he's one to watch out for. Meanwhile, Luka also still not able to close the gap to Tainsy by much more than 0.4 of a second. And this has actually also allowed Monzolti to catch up to within a second as well. So is Tainsy a bit of a bottleneck at the minute? Or is Luke just not able to get past? Is he running out of opportunities or just not finding the opportunity? Well, Luke is definitely close, but there's only one DRS zone here, and it's not the longest in the world. There's been another spin or something for an AlphaTauri. That's Drakovic being passed by Alexei. One Red Bull family car makes way for another. And the Groka is now the car at the back of the field. Luke taking a little bit of a look. He's not able to make a dive bomb at the minute. Closing through the braking zone a little bit, but then through the traction zone, he's going to lose a bit more. And we finally have Ofek and Ben Dixon into the pits. And that is not a disaster for Ofek. It's just me forgetting where the pit boxes are. Bagdi also in, as well as Biscuit. And that means Luka has retaken the lead of the race. But keep your eyes on the two McLarens. Ofek has jumped Ohana, his teammate, in the pit stops. He held out and has pulled off the overcut. Oh, there's been a crash!
Sarakaya? No, it's not a crash. He has retired in the pit lane. He's had enough.
I immediately saw that Sarakaya has retired from the session and immediately thought, crash. No, done. He's retired in the pit lane. There will not be a safety car. So, still, Luke Wolstow struggling to... he's keeping pace with Tainsy, but he's just not able to get past. I wonder, let's bring... wrong button again. Let's see, the telemetry again. 76% battery. Tainsy is using his battery on the exit of the chicane, which is probably why he's able to make a bit more ground on the Alpine, who's relying solely on his DRS. Meanwhile, Cookie under threat from Alexei, who is lightning quick. Currently has the fastest lap, if I am not mistaken. Has the DRS, uses a little bit of his remaining energy, and makes his way past the Haas, and now is P10, and should take home a point.
Fastest lap does indeed belong to Alexei, a 1:30.943. Fastest man so far. No one's even come close to that. I think even the closest is a 1:31.7 from Agroka, who is way down the order. Ooh, we've got some some issues. There we go. Right, so up the field, Sapphire, very close to Gandalf. Now these two, Gandalf has pit earlier. Sapphire also pit earlier. Not at the same time though. Yellow flag in sector 2. That's Dracovic, the two AlphaTauris swapping positions. Oh, a little bit of a slide out of the corner. Wheel spin, that's the proper word, as Biscuit becomes the first man today to pick up a corner cutting penalty. 3 seconds will be added to his time after the end of the race. At the minute though, he will keep his current position of P13. Still this battle for P2 on track. Oh, Gandalf has just lost out to Sapphire. Typical, I switched away from it and that's when the move happens. Gandalf not using a huge amount of his energy while Sapphire has been. And look who's behind. The McLaren pair, Ofek and Nitsan Ohana, making quite serious inroads, and that's Gandalf already within striking distance of Ofek's McLaren. There are 8 laps of the race remaining. That begs the question, is that enough time for Ofek to catch Luka and retake the lead? He is going to be lightning quick on these brand new, or slightly brand new, medium tyres. Ooh, weaving a little bit, or is that just a bit of a... probably just a bit of latency going on there. Within a second of Gandalf, but Gandalf still has the DRS on Sapphire, and he's got plenty of energy to play with. He's going to retake that position from the Ferrari, if he can help it. Oh, and there's a massive crash on the main straight. Sapphire knocked out by Gandalf, who just got a bit too close. Full safety car, and this is exactly what Luka would have wanted. This is played perfectly into his hands. There is plenty of time for Luka to stop and bolt on a set of mediums or softs and go to the end of the race. Meanwhile, Luke Walstow did manage to get past Tainsy for P2 on the road. This has worked out pretty nicely for these top drivers. I wonder if Ofek is going to pit again. Might as well, if you've got a set rather, of soft tyres to use. Cookie did stop for soft tyres, so this is more than likely what's going to happen. This is played into Luka's hands perfectly. With 9.5 seconds back to Luke Walstow, that's going to be plenty of time. And in fact, it is quite a nice amount of time back to Ofek, who I think is lifting off a little bit. 19 seconds to Ofek. That's more than enough time for Luka to maintain his lead. Comes into the pits and on go medium tyres. So maybe he doesn't have a set of softs to use, or maybe he just doesn't think that the softs are going to last. Bit of a slow stop for Tainsy, who had to put up with the double stack. Gandalf picks up another 5-second penalty for pit lane speeding. Ofek has put on the softs, as well as Ohana, but he's lost a bit of time through the pit stops, and he's got the Mercedes of Monzalti between him and his teammate, so he's effectively lost a position there.
More pit stops going on down the field. Groka is going to stay out. Reese is going to pit.
But that's going to allow his teammate Cookie past. Biscuit on brand new medium tyres. Drakovic is going to see out the end of this race
On the hards. But that put him at threat from his...
No,
that will put him under threat from Reese behind on the fresh, soft tyres. Meanwhile, Ben Dixon, who stopped 4 laps ago, has decided to stay out
on his current set of medium tyres,
which could be quite the inspired move. It's promoted him up into P2, but those 4-lap-old mediums not going to be as grippy as the fresh mediums on the cars immediately in front and behind of him. Not to mention the soft tyres of the McLarens. Still, it's better than going on to fresh hard tyres or simply staying on much older medium tyres.
we're going to be waiting a little while.
For this race to get back underway, though. And you know, I'm actually shocked. Gandalf and Sapphire,
Despite having that massive crash, are still going. So it was a huge collision.
oh no! Ofek! Oh dear!
I didn't see exactly what happened there. Let's look at what happened on the replay. He was P5 and something happened. Oh, he spun! He spun on the exit of the chicane!
And he's now down into P9! That is an unmitigated disaster for the man who won the first 2 rounds of the season. It's not looking like he can win a 3rd round of the season. Luka, at the minute, is going to hold on to that honour
Unless he has a mistake or calamity of his own. Well, the pack is bunched up. The racing should get back underway on lap 23. We just got to wait for the field to pass through the Degners, the hairpin, spoon, 130R, and the final chicane. Oh, Biscuit has had a happening as well. Didn't see what happened there exactly. Maybe he just
used a bit too much throttle and now he's at the back of the field.
Oh dear. Let's see. Safety car should be in this lap. I'm going to turn off the telemetry for the final little sprint, as well as the tyres. Leave just the time interval. Give as much of a clear view as I can. Luka will lead the pack away. And on these fresh medium tyres, he's bound to make a good, sizable chunk of time on the car behind. And he goes for it. Just a few meters away from the DRS line. And Ofek has lost it again! Ofek has gone from P5 to P16. That is it went from bad to worse for the man who was P2 in the championship. He went from potentially scoring a minimum of P10, suddenly only 2, and now he's not going to get anything. It's also been a bad start for Cookie, who, despite being on soft tyres himself, finds himself behind Biscuit and Reese and Drakovic, ahead of only Ofek. Ben Dixon's older medium tyres, meanwhile, holding on for a little bit. And I'm thinking that Luka probably should have bolted on some softs, but fresh mediums are as good as anything. Ohana, meanwhile, highest placed driver on the soft tyres. Can he make his way past Tainsy, potentially past Luke Wolstow, and get onto the podium? It's the least he could do. Definitely. Look how much grippier he is through Spoon. I'm gonna have to see exactly what happened to Ofek on the replay when I can. He's lost a mountain of time. Oh no, he's lost his front wing. I didn't notice that before. That is his race. Absolutely done. He is over. He went from P2 to nothing, and there's been another spin for Biscuit as well as for Reese, actually. What happened to them? I think they've had a coming together at the chicane. Reese coming in. I think he's got damage. Oh, Ofek! He retires. And it's been a race to forget for the McLaren driver. Ben Dixon, meanwhile, holding on to P2 here. Luke Wolstow, despite being on the fresher rubber, not able to make the inroads on Ben Dixon. This might be your top 3 here. Oh, Ben Dixon, though, picks up a 3-second time penalty. Luke Wolstow, if he can manage to maintain the current gap as it is, he is going to finish P2. Drakovic also picks up a 3-second time penalty. I don't know how you guys do things here. Maybe you do get rid of the 3-second penalties. They can be a bit stupid at times. But if not, that is Luke essentially guaranteed. P2 and Ben Dixon hit the age of his tyres is definitely beginning to show he's lost time to Luka on this lap. In fact, I think he's losing time down the straights as well as Ohana getting a bit racy with Tainsy in the second Aston Martin. Oh no! It's a double disaster for McLaren! And they're both going to finish outside of the points or get nothing for their efforts. This is not just an unmitigated disaster, it is calamity, catastrophe, apocalyptic. This is the result that Aston Martin would want, and actually, look at what's happened here. Ben Dixon has been passed by Luke at some point. I was so focused on Ohana that Ben Dixon not even going to finish a minimum of P3 here. Tainsy is going to make it an Aston Martin 1-3. He just has to hold on to the gap as it is, or close it if he can. Preferably he'd like to take that P3 on the road, but getting it through the penalty will help, will do even, as Sapphire becomes our latest retirement. What has happened here? Simply lost it. I think there may have been contact somewhere. Very unfortunate for a man who survived a very big accident on the main straight. Meanwhile, the gap between Luka and Luke, Jovic and Wolstow, 1.5 seconds. Luke actually catching Jovic a little bit. Oh, that's going to be confusing. Luka and Luke. Whilst Ben Dixon losing more time. Oh, look how close Monzolati is to Tainsy, though. We could see a last-minute upset here for Tainsy, who could, is at the minute on track to get P3, if only through the podiums, but Monzolati could potentially get it himself if he can get past Tainsy. We've also got Alexei, who is on soft tyres. He is going to be rapid, but will the increased grip of the soft tyres, will it last? At the minute, it seems to be holding up. We got, that is, Groka behind, on track to finish P7 potentially. Ben Dixon with the 3-second penalty might even go down to P7 himself. So Groker could pick up P6. We've got a yellow flag. That's Dragovic spinning again. And Biscuit also spinning at turn 2. Oh dear. And Tainsy starting to lose touch to Ben Dixon. Monzolotti has not very many opportunities to get past. We are on to the final lap. There's another yellow flag. Dragovic has cooked tyres again. Tainsy does not have the DRS. Monzolotti does, but there's just not going to be enough time. There's not enough straight for the Mercedes to get past the Aston Martin. It's been a race of ups and downs. We've got another yellow flag, and that's even more disaster for Nitsan Ohana. Oh, that is very unfortunate, and he's just decided he's gonna quit and let the AI finish the race for him. Meanwhile, Tainsy losing more time to Ben Dixon, though catching a little bit. He's used up as much of his energy as he can, as has Ben Dixon. Oh, Alexei has got past Monzolotti here. Oh, contact! More contact! That is probably not legitimate contact, though. If that had been real contact, that's... I tell you what that is. It's called lag, ping, latency. Alexei takes P5 on the road. That is going to promote Alexei to P4 at the minute. Ben Dixon, though, it's been a race to forget for him, I suppose. It's not been a race to forget for our 3-time-in-a-row winner, Luka Jovic, takes P1 in Japan. Luke Wolstow takes a well-deserved P2. Tainsy will take P3. Alexei will take P4, and the gap behind Ben Dixon was enough for him to salvage P5. Groker P6, and Monzolotti also lost out to Groker in the end, only P7. Vagti in the second Alfa Romeo P8. Cookie will get P9, and Gandalf, despite the mountain of penalties, picks up P10 and a single point, and disaster for the McLaren Giro. 0 points for the championship contenders here. Only one man to finish the race now. Biscuit also being a bit of a race to forget for our Mercedes driver here, as his teammate scores points. In fact, oh, look at the gap between Monzolotti and Agroka. That was on the line. In the end, though, Luka, well played. Championship leader extends his championship lead, and we'll see who had the fastest lap in the end. I would imagine someone who bolted on the soft tyres. Cookie picks up driver of the day. According to the game, I think my driver of the day goes to Luka for consistency. Yeah, there we go.
Podium.
Oh, hey, he's using my avatar. How dare you? There can only be one. Oh my god, they're twins! They're twins! The Aston Martin girl, who knew? Luka and Tainsy, twins. Who would have thunk? And so, oh yes, Luka takes maximum points. 25 plus the 1 point for fastest lap, 130.6, blitzes the next fastest, which was Alexei's 130.9 that we saw much earlier on. 3-second penalty for Ben Dixon may potentially be removed, but regardless, minimum of P5, it's still good points for the Alfa Romeo driver. Gandalf with the 10 seconds worth of penalties at the end. I think he would have been P9 had it not been for those. In fact, potentially even P8. So, unfortunate for Gandalf, but unfortunately wasn't consistent enough. And so, that is the race. That is PFR round 5. Next week,
It will be, well, oh, let me just find all the relevant stuff. We're going to have a black screen briefly. Is that the right thing? I don't remember. No, it's not.
I don't have an end screen. I wasn't given one. Help!
We'll just stay in the lobby for now. But yes, there we go. That was round 5. Eddie should be back next weekend. But next week, well, there might be some plans going on next Wednesday. This certainly isn't the last you've heard of me.
Until next weekend, though, for the very least, we'll have Eddie back. So we'll see when I come back next time. Until then, thank you for watching, everyone. And until next time, have a good one. And good night.